Show us your tips previewing the midweek racing of the 27th of September 2020 after a character building weekend, Beaver.
Yeah, you could say that, mate. Bit of a challenge.
Yeah, a few hot price favourites all going down, which we were all both keen on. A couple pulled up late,
Yeah,
a couple Hope had no luck, and maybe Masked Crusaders a bit overrated from the Sydney Stakes, I
yeah,
suppose. And Russian Camelot showed
certainly
us
looks
well.
like that. And Rothfire got, yeah,
We went to see Rothfire.
didn't pull
Rothfire
up well.
down. So the Hawks horses Quinella the Golden Rose and Russian Camelot picked up the Group 1 down in Melbourne and stand itself as one of the horses to beat in the Cox Plate.
Yeah, certainly.
Anything really to take away apart from the obvious stuff there?
No, not a lot to take away from that I can think of off the top of my head, mate.
No, that's okay. Let's
Oh, Subpoenaed. I have to do a shout out to my mate, Gencho, who told me that Subpoenaed would be winning, and he got the jockey, so it was a good shout out.
It was good of you to tell me that after the race. That helped.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Mate, I've never seen him back a winner in his life, so it wasn't worth telling you about.
That's fine. Shall we crack on to an interesting day of midweek racing tomorrow?
Yeah, not the greatest cards, I have to say. Really found it pretty tricky doing the form for these races.
Yeah,
Open markets, but a lot of horses in the market, and it was really hard to line these up.
more so it's noticeable down at Ballarat, but now when they get in summer when they have the Moonee Valley Nights, that tends to be their midweek sort of racing, and then the Wednesdays are now going to be a bit of country stuff we've got to shovel through. So I was less enthusiastic about it than I have been in the last few weeks doing Ballarat, but we'll get to that second. Kensington was a bit the same actually. A few
Yeah, very much so.
average races and average lead ups. The rails in the true. We'll
Yeah,
start. Last time we were
yeah,
both
it's a pretty tricky.
concerned. We end up shooting lights out. So maybe there's an omen there.
Yeah, it's just pretty tricky. There's a few races with horses that haven't had a lot of starts, and some that have got a bit of mixed form, and so yeah, I found that really hard to get a line on.
Yeah. The Kenzo track itself, it's currently good for potentially a bit of rain around. Generally, it tends to play on pacey early and then sort of swing around late in the day, particularly if the rain comes. A month ago on a true rail, same sort of track was a day Plaquette and King's Air were able to run on down the outside and make up ground. So hopefully it plays that way and everything sort of gets a chance.
Yeah, let's hope so, mate.
And we'll kick off in the first, an open race. Any opinion here?
No, no opinion here, mate. I left this one alone, to be honest. Couldn't find anything that stood out to me here.
No, that's fine. I spent probably longer than I should on this race. I could have been interested in the number 9 Wild Irish, but I'm not convinced by Tom Sherry in town, and David Payne's not generally a stable I go after. So the second race of the day, though, sees the clash of sees Private Cheetah, who debuted against Argentius, who came out and won again last week, take on a couple of lightly raced things. Did you like one here?
Yeah, I did. I liked Private Cheetah. I thought its first start run was pretty good. It trialled well before that, and I think this could lead and give them really something to chase here. So I'm happy to take Private Cheetah with Team Clark aboard. He usually rates them quite well out in front. 59 kilos is a little bit of worry, but drawn 6 should go to the front and hopefully hold on.
Yeah, I like Private Cheetah on its debut. Agree with what you've just said, and obviously the form's been franked. Argentius was quite convincing last week, and Kensington will suit this early in the day. I hope it should get control and be the one to beat. The only one I'm worried about is I'll save on number 8 Isafar. who's trialled really, really well. She looks like a big beast, and pretty much dominated Zanzi Dance in its last trial, who then went to Hawkesbury and won dominantly last Thursday, I believe. But I think
Yep.
it might be a nice filly. But Private
Good,
Cheetah,
good. One to watch.
yeah. So Private Cheetah though is one I'd black book off its trials essentially, and wasn't let. Apart from the fact it didn't win, I thought it was a good debut. So I stick with
Yeah,
there
100%.
largely. Race 3, an interesting benchmark 72 staying race. Do you have any opinion on all these horses that are racing each other for the
No,
400th time?
no, these horses, yeah, they take their turns at winning, and I'm not sure which one will be winning tomorrow.
No, that's fine. I just thought you can't speak much here, but I thought Frenzy turned the tables off its last run on Prince of Aragon, and probably leads here with Nash. But a race I'll probably take the kids to the park for a while. Where's your next bet of the day?
Yeah, my next bet of the day comes up in the fourth month, and I've gone for the Gate 1, number 8, Jailbreak.
Okay.
Thought its first up run was pretty good. It was one that had trod reasonably well. First up at Dubbo, but one with plenty in hand and won quite comfortably. So I expect it to get a good run in transit here. And second up could be the horse to beat.
Cool. I didn't like this race at all. I just thought I didn't really want to be with the favourite Xanthus, so I then sort of had to find one to beat it. It would have been Regal Stage if it had a jockey, but Quade Crow's not one I really want to back in town. But I've liked the trials. I like the $10. I like it. Probably leads here. Just the jockey stops me from really wanting to pull the trigger on that. And Avon Rivers, in my mind's the best horse in the race, but it was pretty ordinary last start, I thought.
Mm.
So maybe
Yeah, it was very ordinary last time.
Yeah, so maybe yours is the one there, which is probably why it's taking up nearly 20% of the market. It does have. I know it's Dubbo win, but I guess it does have Sydney form before that. Cool. Race 5, we'll see the race I'm keenest on here. Over the 1800 meters for the benchmark 72, and for all the reasons I had to spruik Badoosh last Friday, I'm gonna be on it here. Gate 1, Hugh Bowman. I know it's got 61 kilos, but should just go to sleep straight behind the leader. And if the tracks, all things are equal, I think it wins this race.
Yeah, it's hard to go past in a race like this. It's meeting some pretty mediocre company here, and just trying to get the right run, even with the 61.5. The one gate probably offsets that a bit, and so it won't have to do any work, or it can just park Posse straight on the back of the lead and get the split in the straight, and hopefully, even with that way, can go past them.
Yeah, and the two obvious dangers, the Hawks horses. I was just looking. There's still no jockey booking, so I got a feeling they might
might
make
come
a
in.
start. In which case, it probably is even more of a good thing here. But yeah, Badoosh is my best of the day at Kenzo tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll probably go with you, to be honest.
A thought in the benchmark 72 over the 1300 meter 6 race of the day?
Nothing for me here, mate. Very open market. Again, was one of those races I talked about early on that looks hard to line up if I was forced to have a pick. I thought the 11.0200 was a horse that showed a little bit in its first preparation with a win and a second. Fresh tomorrow, and probably expected to run fairly well.
Yeah. I thought it's the only one. You sort of know what you get with all of these, and it's the only one that could have a bigger future than these ones. Just one trial, and it just sort of just didn't do a lot. Which otherwise, if I think it had trialed like a star, it probably starts $2.50 in this race. It might even still do. If the money comes, it probably wins. But until we see it, how can you stamp it, I suppose?
This is it.
And to wrap up the day, anything to finish us off?
Oh, look, I was happy to go with acrophobic. Again, Dougie, I did have a bit of a liking for it first up and ran a really credible third, and I can see it improving on that run in a pretty open field. A bit concerned about the gate 12, the horse 12 from gate 12. Bit of superstition there. I think it can run well, and it's certainly got the good service of a good jockey board. So, look, that's a horse I'd be playing around there.
If we the thing is, you'll know by now if you're running on, which we'll know by this time of day. If they're coming down outside, I think it's the one to beat. If they're not, Royal Marine probably makes it 4 in a row. Just has been dominant on pace its last 2, and probably has exactly the same run here. So that's a wait and see for me. It'll be one or the other. I'll be backing one or the other for quite a good result, I think, because I don't think there's much else after those 2.
No.
But acrophobic was a nice return against the bias, and like I said, I want to be seeing him slingshotting by now. It'll be one of those J-Mac rides at Kenzo where he takes off at the last minute and gets there in the last stride. But I want to see the track playing there first. So yeah, an interesting opening day. Interesting open day. Probably one I'm going to be playing more to build books across the day than really stamp a few, unfortunately. But do you have a best in value we can leave people with?
Yeah. My best is race 5, number 1, Badoosh.
I'm with you. So
And my value,
we're all in there.
Yep, we're all in. And my value bet of the day comes up in race 4, number 8, Jailbreak.
Excellent.
At $6 mark.
I'm going to make my value race 7, number 3, Royal Marine. Just because I really struggled to find anything close to double figures that I want to be too involved with down at Kenzo. But we're about to head down to Ballarat. I've got to give a few, you've given a shout out, so I'm going to sneak a couple of shout outs in as well. Good luck to Carol, who has her horse running tomorrow at Canberra, Arctic Thunder, in the 3rd race. Currently around 2.
Oh, there you go.
She's quietly confident, her and her husband Jason, who listen to the show every weekend. So shout out to them. And
it's 1 from 1.
Yeah, she's 1 from 1, and the Bortelli stable's going all right in the bush. And the Gump's got a horse racing down there tomorrow as well.
How did you know that?
Race 7. He said it might need the run.
There you go.
I've got a feeling it might need the career change. But good luck, Gumpy, as well.
There you go.
We'll get him on the show.
He's gonna love it.
I might team up to get him on the show in 2 weeks, eh? We might get the Gump on for a group day.
I've just had a look at that, and I can't believe Gump's allowing a female jockey on his horse.
Oh, who is it? I didn't even see.
Rihanna Costin is right.
Oh, no, she's all right.
So, yeah, no, nothing against Rihanna, but the old Gump's not a big fan. He fan of he likes the big, stronger jockeys. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I like toucans, eh?
I think he's looking for second up there. He said, "Give it a run." But
I'm kind of. We'll see what happens.
I'll get a call off him.
If
he watches this.
The only race Gump's horse might be winning is in a greyhound's belly, mate.
We're very politically correct here at Pro Group Racing. Check out progroupracing.com, by the way, on that note, for all the updates as we go along. Some exciting stuff happening there in the next few weeks as we head deeper into spring. So check them out. Should we head down to Ballarat? I've filled enough because I don't really want to talk about this card. Actually, yes. I'm finding more bets than I thought it would, but it's currently a heavy 8. There's potential of more rain. Ballarat with the long straight. I thought it's probably going to be a bit of last man standing stuff at the end of the long straight, sort of running on. Potentially a big day for the Mick Price stable. But where are you kicking off? Do you have a thought in the first? Because the first four, as I said, it's provincial racing is effectively. So the first four races are all maidens, which make it hard to really get too excited when a lot of them are unraced and no trials. And right now, when you even try and go find some jump out form, half the time get the wrong horse labelled, and it's just might be time for Melbourne racing to pull their finger out in that regard. But anyway, in the first though, do you like anything?
My first bet doesn't come up till race 3, mate.
Okay, I'll just going to quickly mention one in the first. It is actually, I think, second favourite, but Redwood Shadow. I like the debut behind Camborne, who obviously has gone to town and ran quite competitively. Came from last, just got buffeted all up way up the straight, picked itself up a couple of times and still ran third. Now as Gate 2 and Dean Yendall is there to run well, I think, and is probably where I'm going to have my first bet down south. Yeah, the second race, I have never seen any of them, so we're going to move past that. Where are you going for the third?
Yeah, I'm going for the favourite. Probably a little bit skinny, but I'm hoping gets out to sort of that 7-4, 2-1 mark. And Zelify, I thought its first up run was pretty good.
Yeah.
Didn't jump all that well. Got well out of its ground, and I think the Ballarat track might suit it. And I expect it to be running on nicely. And Damien Lane on board, Waller trained. I think this might have a big improvement tomorrow.
Yeah, when I first saw how short it was, I wanted to try and find something else. And I know there's a lot of unraced here as well, but I really did like its last start. Had to come over heels a couple of times, and I like the booking of Lane on a wet track as well. So I'm with you there. The one I'm going to save on, though, is the McAvoy one, Merva, who has, at least we've seen trial and had a trial win in Adelaide and trialled okay, and since come to Flemington, I believe, and had a jump out. Again, it's travelled okay, but that'll be the saver. I think probably I'll structure that to have a good result in Merva, but a reasonable one if Zelify wins and play it that way. Anything in race 4? Last maiden of the day?
No, I just thought it was worth calling out I think it's called Mirror Tower.
Yep.
From the course in the stable. First starter with Michael Rutherford. Won nicely at a Cranbourne trial, and I expect it to run quite well again tomorrow. So it's certainly a horse that may have a little bit of ability. So that's what I come up with in the fourth.
Yeah, that was I know Shoot and Run a few others got beat up by a horse I'm going to talk about soon. So I thought the unraced one there potentially could be the best horse as well. Race 5, we get to the 64s. Generally, I have a rule I don't bet into benchmark 58s, so this is only a grade above. And the general reason for that is they're just a lottery a lot of the time, particularly down in Melbourne. I'm going to spruik up here, though. Deploys Alone. I liked its last start where it just worked really hard outside lead. Gets into this where it probably leads alone. And I think Craig Newitt's going to let himself be bullied by Alana Kelly inside on the pace and potentially, if handles the wet, which it should do and has done before. I know it's 19 starts for 2 wins, but there's not a lot else here, and I think it could lead and win the 5th here. Any thought here?
No, thank you.
Where's your next one? Race 6?
Yeah, race 6.
You're probably going to tip the top weight, so
Next.
go ahead.
What's that?
You're probably going to tip the top weight, so go ahead.
I wasn't going to, actually.
Okay, go on. Who are
I'm
you
actually going to tip. I'm with Zorro's Dream.
Okay.
So I thought its 2 runs back from a spell had been pretty good. I thought it was pretty unlucky last start and didn't have a lot of luck. and still ran well to finish second. It's got wet track for, and we've got a wet track tomorrow, and I think it's certainly a horse that could probably knock these off.
Yeah, I think I've backed it both at starts this prep, so I didn't want it anymore. I'm gonna stump up for the favourite here. I know it only kept beat one at Wodonga Maiden, and it needs to take that to a wet track. But it won by 7.5, and at times it ran were very good. The times of a good horse, and looks a nice style of a thing, and is better than Class 1 at Ballarat grade, I think. So just stumping up for that horse to win on the way up.
Yeah, it just worries me sometimes. Horses come out of mating to Class 1. They don't have great records.
Yeah, I know. But I think that's because the good ones tend to go straight to town as well. They tend to
Yeah.
skip Class 1. But I know what you're saying there. Surprised Zara's Dream's actually so short, which may be an indication. Yeah, okay, cool. We'll take each other on there. And anything in the 7th?
Mate, didn't have anything in the 7th.
I guess I'll make it. I'll just probably explain why it's probably too short for me. But Steamboat Rock was a tragedy beat in the last start. Before that, had quite good form, lightly raced in a benchmark 64 grade here. If you watch its run first up, Michael Walker sat on a fence, cruised the whole way round, just never got a crack at all, and had to come right to the outside. By the time it did, the race was over, and it flushed home. Typically, for these unlucky horses, it's going to probably start too short. It doesn't have a lot to beat here when like Bacchus is the next in the market, and if it's and now has Damien Oliver and drawn out wide, I think it'll win this race. So just making a case for that one there, and we'll finish off the day. You finish off the day with a winner, or what? In the benchmark 7.
Mate, I'm going to finish off the day with my value bet of the day, and that's number 4, Indian Thunder, around the $10 mark. This is a pretty open race here with some
Is that just because it has P
horses
next to it?
well, it's part of the reason. I just thought this was a pretty ordinary affair, and last start it was a slow run race, and they just sprinted, and it couldn't go with them. So hopefully there's a little bit of pace on this time round. Prior to that, it ran second to a pretty reasonable horse, and it suits my mind at the moment, Yulong Storm. And then some of its form before that wasn't great, but I think in a race like this, it can certainly be, if it can put its best foot forward, can be in the finish. It's drawn out a little bit wider, so hopefully that'll suit it where it can come down the middle of the track, run on strongly.
Excellent. Did I do a quaddie earlier? I didn't, did I?
No, you didn't.
No. You may as well do yours
You
now,
didn't.
and then I'll do the quaddie. I'll do the Sydney one as well. So,
Yeah.
anything in charge of Melbourne this week, Beaver?
Yes. Have we got? So that's my quaddie is first leg. I've gone 1, 3, 7, and 9 in the
Yep.
first leg. The second leg, I've gone 1 and 2.
Yep.
In the third leg, I've gone 1, 5, 7, and 3.
Yep.
And in the last leg, I've gone 2, 6, 4, and 10.
2, 6, 4, and 10. Cool. 832. So 4 by 2 by 4 by 4. Which I'll do the graphic up there. Beautiful.
128. So about 40%.
Perfect. And your best and value for Melbourne?
Yeah, my value is in race 8, number 4, is Indian Thunder. So the last race there. So hopefully, if we need something special, then that would help us out. And then my best bet of the day comes up in race 3, number 11, Zelify.
Cool. Okay. Cool. I'm going to make my value race 3, number 7, Merva. Another day where I struggled to find something anything at too bigger odds there. And I'm going to make my best race 7, number 7, Steamboat Rock for Oliver and Price. So I've got to quickly do my Sydney quaddie from earlier. Apologies for those who have been hanging for that. But let's go back up to Sydney. A tough day for a quaddie, but the Kenzo quaddie will be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 11 into 1, 8, 13, 14, 2, 10, 11, home with 3, 9, and 12. $50 gets you 17.36% of that. Anything else around Australia? Have a chance to look?
Yeah, a couple of tips up in the lovely Gold Coast. So I've got race 1, number 2, Blue Ant. Race 7, number 2, Dolly Spartan. And in the last, race 8, number 6, Take It to the Limit.
Fantastic. Good job, Beaver.
My 3 up.
Perfect. I will see you on Thursday evening to discuss the Epsom Day. Epsom Day and
Perfect. Looking forward to it.
yeah, massive day of racing in Sydney. The fields came out today. I saw Star of the Seas drew gate 1, so I can pen that straight away. Colding backing up, and down in Melbourne we've got the Underwood. Underwood? Was it last week? Turnbull, one of them.
That was last week, Turnbull.
Turnbull and the Bart Cummings. So Melbourne Spring's well and truly upon us as well. So exciting day of racing there. Good luck tomorrow, mate.
Thank you very much. Right.
Good luck to all the punters, and we will catch everyone. Don't forget to check out Pro Group Racing once again for all your racing insight there, and we'll catch everyone Thursday night. Catch you guys.
Safe travels.